This channel is all about travels and experiences. Please remember to give me a wee like and subscribe. Hello and welcome to the channel. You're joining me as I go international again and we're exploring the Czech capital of Prague. We're here for 3 days. We're going to explore some of the sights, some of the sounds of this beautiful city. Well, first thing was I had to get there, and I was flying from Glasgow Airport, and it takes about 2.5 hours for the flight, and of course I needed a wee airport beer. Right, just a wee tip for you guys. So when you're going to Prague, make sure to buy the 72-hour travel pass. Now this gets you on the tram, the bus and also the metro, and you can even use it from the airport. So they've got machines all over the place. All you just need to do is make sure you validate it. If you don't validate it, you could end up with a fine, but this made getting about so much easier, and the travelling was actually really easy to navigate. It's so simple. It was now time to check out the hotel, and I was staying at the Michelangelo Grand Hotel, just off of the old town. Here we are checking out the room now that we have arrived at the Michelangelo Hotel. I will do a full review in the morning. Well, all that travelling made me really thirsty, so I had to get a nice wee beer in the bar, and we were drinking Pilsner Urquell, which was really nice. I hadn't tried this one before, but I really enjoyed it. The bar also did a nice wee pizza for dinner. Finished off with some pizza flavoured crisps. Just outside the hotel was a Franz Kafka head statue. Now this rotates every hour and it puts on quite a show. It's not something I would have rushed to see, but it was good that it was outside their hotel and it looked quite nice when it was lit up. Time to rise and shine and make my way down for breakfast. Well guys, we've just had breakfast, which was your usual continental affair with a few kind of cooked items and stuff. Lots of cakes for those with a nice wee sweet tooth. Some items that were a wee bit kind of questionable, but we enjoyed it nonetheless. We're now going to go and explore Prague. Prague is such a nice city to just even walk around in. The architecture here is simply stunning. The buildings have their own wee character to themselves, and there was always something to have a wee look at. Made my way up to the old square. Now this is where I was told to come to see the likes of the astronomical clock and also some nice churches. Now this did not disappoint. The views here were simply stunning, and of course we had to go to the astronomical clock. Apologies, I can't really say that word too well. Now the clock itself has a wee show on the hour every hour, It is worth having a wee look at the show. As you'll see in the next wee kind of clip, you'll see the show itself. It's not something that you should see every hour, but it was good to just take it all in. The crowds here were really, really busy. Everybody was out having a look to see the show itself. Built in 1410, this is the world's oldest astronomical clock. Here in the square is this stunning church, the Church of St Nicholas, built in 1704 for the Czech and Slovak Orthodox Church. During the Prague uprising in 1945, the church was used by Czech artisans as a concealed site for Radio Prague, as their main building was under attack by the Waffen SS. As you can see, this church is simply stunning. The artwork that adorns the ceilings, to the nice wee statues and lighting. This was definitely worth a visit. It was also free to enter. It was now time to head to the Charles Bridge. We're now about to head over the famous Charles Bridge. One of the most famous landmarks here in Prague is of course the Charles Bridge. Construction began in 1357 and it was designed by Peter Parler, who also worked on the St Vitus Cathedral, which is situated across the bridge on Prague Castle. The bridge was completed in the 15th century and for 400 years was the only bridge that crossed the Vltava, the river. The bridge is lined with 30 statues, all telling a different story. However, most of these are replicas of the originals. Some of the originals are in the National Museum. The bridge is popular with tourists, so it can get quite crowded, but it was definitely worth a visit. It was such a focal point to Prague, linking the two sides of the river Vltava. It was now time to head up the infamous Prague Castle steps and enter this huge castle complex. Occupying an area of 750,000 square feet, Prague Castle Complex is the largest ancient castle in the world, and it is the most visited tourist attraction in the Czech Republic. With construction starting in the 9th century and holding just under 30 buildings, it is also the official residence of the President of the Czech Republic. The architecture here is simply stunning. You can spend hours and hours just wandering the complex and looking at these buildings. However, we did buy a nice wee ticket that got us into some of the kind of sites. So the first one that we went into was called the Golden Lane. Now the Golden Lane holds a lot of different kind of artifacts like suits of armour and lots of different kind of equipment. The lane is quite small and it is quite crowded. However, there's lots of little buildings that you can go and explore. It was definitely well worth kind of a wee visit. However, it was very crowded on today. We also got some nice views over to Prague itself. This might be a wee bit controversial, but I had to stop for a coffee, and in the castle complex there is actually a Starbucks. Also included in our ticket was the Basilica of St George. Built in the 10th century, it is one of the oldest churches in Prague and is of Romanesque style. The church was important at the beginning of the spread of Christianity throughout Bohemia. Today, Mass is still observed and it also houses the 19th century Bohemian art collection of the National Gallery of Prague and serves as a concert hall. Well, we made it up to the Prague Castle and we're about to go inside the impressive St Vitus Cathedral that's standing behind me. Now if it's as impressive as it is outside as it is in, we are in for a wee treat. Now this stunning building is the St Vitus Cathedral and it can be seen from all over Prague. Although a cathedral has been here since the 10th century, this actual building was built in 1344. This beautiful building is certainly worth a visit. From the stained glass windows to the organ, it's one not to be missed on your visit here in Prague. This was included in our ticket. The ticket that we got for the complex was the main complex ticket, which included the Golden Lane, the Basilica, the Cathedral and also the Palace. But it was the Cathedral that stood out from the lot. You could be lost for hours in here looking at all the different kind of statues and artefacts. It was certainly interesting. For an additional price you can get a kind of guided tour and things. But we just wandered around ourselves and immersed ourselves in this wonderful building. One of the most interesting parts of the cathedral was here, the Chapel of St Wenceslas, which was constructed in 1356 and houses the relics of the saint. Also included in the ticket was the Royal Palace. Dating back to the 12th century and designed in Gothic and Renaissance styles, the Vladislav Hall has been used for inaugurations and is the most important representative hall in the country. It is also home to a copy of the Czech crown. Due to the vast size of the castle complex, it is advised to take your time here so that you're not missing out. This one can't really be rushed and it does take up quite a lot of your day. So if you're going to be travelling to Prague and take a visit, then just make sure you take your time. Well, we had a busy day exploring some of Prague. We went to the wee old town, saw I can't even say the astronomical clock, which was okay. A wee show every hour, before then moving on to the Prague castle. We are absolutely knackered, a lot of walking, so I'm going to enjoy a nice wee coffee, a wee roll, and I've got a wee cake as well. Well, it was now time to go for some dinner, and we decided to go back to the Charles Bridge and try this restaurant. Now, this was pontoon on the river itself, and it provided a lot of different kind of traditional Czech meals. I went for a big, massive stein, which I could barely pick up. This was starter and it was certainly a well-needed treat. I then had the goulash and a pork chop. This was really nice. We really enjoyed it. It was a great wee setting, and I would definitely recommend it. Fairly priced. The Charles Bridge was certainly different at night time. It was a lot quieter, but still gave you stunning views across Prague. This was definitely well worth coming to have a look at night. It was well lit up, and it was so nice to even kind of look at some of the stuff that we'd saw earlier in the day. Just down for the bridge is this unique bar. Now, this is the Robotic Bar, which is a cocktail bar situated in one of the clubs. It's a cocktail bar, and you pick on the screen exactly what drink that you want to go for. I went for a wee tequila sunrise, and then once you've ordered, you watch the magic happen. And that's right, some robots pour and make your drinks. This was certainly unique and a fun experience. The drinks were a wee bit pricey, but you're treated to this wee show, and it was quite fun to watch. It's something a wee bit different to what we're usually used to. I then wanted to try something a wee bit more traditional, and we found out this pub. Now, this is the way that beer in Czech is supposed to be served. I would usually send this back with a amount of head on that, but it was really nice. It was Pilsner Urquell, and it was certainly a welcome drink after the day that we had. Now, here's me having a bit of fun with the beer mats. Unbelievable skills. Now, the evening was brought to a close by visiting here. Now, this is the shrink's office. This is a speakeasy in the old town of Prague, and it is very unique. They don't give you a menu as such. Instead, you're told to pick from one of these blotted cards, and that is your drink. This was certainly another unique place that we visited. cocktails were good choices, something a bit different, and definitely a great end to the night. Thank you all for watching. Keep tuned for part 2, where I'll explore more of Prague, including getting familiar with the local water rats.